I want you to understand that by the time that he sexually violates her, he has groomed her. Remember, we spoke about grooming. But the man has also been groomed. You need to understand that if you are a partner to someone, that it's not just that your wife was groomed to get to a point where she was sexually violated, but you have also been groomed to let your guard down, for you to be okay with him saying, let your wife stay for an extra 10 minutes. I need to talk to her about something. You have been groomed to let your guard down. I mean, in any other instance, you would never allow your wife to be in a hotel room with a man. But with him, he's normalized it. He's made it okay. He's groomed the congregation. He's groomed you. It's okay. Oh, dad said he wants to see you. Okay, I'll go get the car. You're leaving your wife with dad. Monster, predator, beloved, prophet, pastor, minister. He's all those things at once. But remember, the part that you are likely exposed to is him being this fantastic man and servant of God. And she's violated and she doesn't say anything to you. And time passes, and I want you to understand what this woman is dealing with, because a lot of the men who I have spoken to, they're like, but why was she quiet? And a lot of you on social media, when you comment, hey, why is she only coming now? It means she wanted it. They were in a relationship and now she's just decided to cry wolf. Park it right there. When you are sexually violated, and a lot of the times why women, actually anyone who's been sexually violated, are silent initially, is because when I speak it out, when I say it, there's an element of realness about it. Up until the moment I verbalize it, I can still play around with the idea of me having misunderstood what happened, of it being just part of a bad dream. My mind still offers me some kind of psychological protection. But when I say it out, it makes it more real. And somebody else has access to that experience than me. Because remember, it's shameful for me. It shouldn't be, but it is, because you people don't believe us when we speak. You ask us, what were we wearing? What did we say? What did we not say? Why didn't we do this? And already that puts me in a place where I'm already being judged as somebody who contributed to it or who called for it to happen in some way. And so I'm ashamed as a woman, if I'm speaking on behalf of women, that this happened to me. I don't want to be judged. I probably don't have words for what happened, because remember, in the silence, in the time between this happens and me speaking about it, a lot of the time these predators come in and they give this thing words. So while I'm trying to understand, did he rape me? Is it a spiritual cleansing? Like, what just happened? He comes in and he gives words to what happened. So they call it all manner of spiritual things. It was a cleansing ceremony. I mean, I even read of a pastor who, after he raped this woman, he wanted a goat. He wanted payment in the form of a goat because, hey, he performed a cleansing ceremony on this woman who was barren. Yeah. So they jump in and they give this thing words, okay? They give language to it. She was ministering to God's servant. She was a concubine. And before you say, hey, how do you call rape ministry? And me now, I would never do that. The second he calls me to my room, I would scream, I would report, I would do all sorts of things. Park it. Research has actually shown that a lot of the times the ideas that we have about what we would do in those circumstances, that's not actually what happens. So there was a study that was done on college age women, right? So these are adults. And they were asked, if you went for a job interview and somebody started, saying sexual comments to you, asked you sexualized questions, basically sexually harassing you, what would you do in that instance? And these women came out saying, Bona, I would tell him where to get off. I would report him. I would do this and this and this and this. Those same women were exposed to that situation. Obviously, they didn't know at the time that this was part of the experiment, but they were exposed to that same situation. And it was an interview situation where the interviewer asked them sexualized questions like, are you wearing a bra right now? Do you find yourself sexy? Why are you asking me that in an interview? But they were asked, and they didn't respond the way that they said they would respond. A lot of them responded smiling to those questions. Why? It's a defense mechanism. I need you people to understand defense mechanisms. And let's move away from sexual violence. But let's just say somebody says something mean to you, right? Sometimes, to deflect, we laugh and we smile. That's not what we're feeling, but it's a defense mechanism. We try to laugh it off, but that's not what you're feeling in the moment, and that is part of our defense mechanism. So I'm saying that to say, you don't know how you would react until, God forbid, you are in this situation. So this thing of saying, why didn't she should have, I would have, you don't really know until it happens, and we don't want that to happen to you. So please bite your tongue. She doesn't need that. She doesn't need you telling her how to respond and what she should have done. Okay. So I'm saying all of this to say there are reasons for the silence. She's still going through the process, and he has given this thing a name, and in the confusion about what had happened, this almighty pastor prophet who is believed and loved by the world over frames this in a way that in as much as it doesn't make sense to you and me, then her mind is in a place where it needs to have some sort of groundedness about this experience, and she accepts this explanation that he gives, that no, this was God putting you, in a higher calling to minister to God's servant. It's an honor, it is a privilege for you to minister to me like this. I minister to others, but for you to minister to me is a privilege, and God has called you for such a time as